everything up for 45?
She stays in the garage, you know, and
in Silva, North Carolina. We're on the scene of a beautiful resident. With me today is Scott Hill. Hi, Scott.
hello, Kenny. How you doing?
I'm great. And how are you?
I'm fabulous.
This is a beautiful place. This is our first segment, if you will, of Hidden Hot Rods. And we came across Scott. Well, I've known Scott now for a long time. You married one of my sister's best friends, Eva Montgomery.
Absolutely.
From down in St. Petersburg, Florida. And being up here in Silva, we're on our way. Tiana's with me filming, and we're on our way to the Chattanooga Motor Car Festival. This is my third trip there. This is our second together, Tiana and I. And we're driving Lucy behind us in our 70 Nova. And we wanted to stop in. You invited us to stop in for a night on our way up here in beautiful Silva. This is northwest of Asheville.
Yeah, we're about an hour west of Asheville.
Okay. And tell me.
Well, there's the story behind this car.
This is a
1968 GTO convertible, base model. Still has the original 3-speed, the original 400 engine still in there. Drum brakes all the way around, manual drum brakes, manual steering. It's a blast to drive.
In the mountains, I can only imagine the four-wheel drum.
It's a beast.
Yeah.
It's a 2-footer going down from my house, getting down to the main road. It's about a 3-minute drive, and I got both my feet on the brake.
And we get to go for a ride then later tonight, don't
tonight
we?
when we're done.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So we get to drive. This is October, and we get to drive with the top down maybe a little bit. The tag on the front. Start with the license plate, man. This is it's weathered.
This tag is original to this car. It's a tag that was on this car in early 1968 when this car was new. I have front and back tags still on this car. Here in North Carolina, I can legally drive on these tags as long as I keep my state-issued registration insurance with me. I drive on these 50-some-year-old plates.
This is it says the Garden State, which is New Jersey.
New Jersey.
So the car was originally purchased in New Jersey by your dad.
Correct.
Now, you had another car. Dad had another car before this.
Yes.
And he had to get rid of that.
Dad drove a 65 convertible Malibu. And when he set his sights on this GTO, it was time to get rid of the Malibu and buy the GTO. So my dad bought this brand new in early 68 when I was 1 year old.
Almost hard to think about getting rid of the Malibu, though, because that car's got a value and a fighting to it, too. And, of course, now did he buy that new?
I believe he did. I've got to get back with him to find out some more details on that.
But Pontiac, it's in the family now, because next to us is your wife Eva's car.
Yes.
And that's a Pontiac
Solstice. 2006.
Say that
Solstice.
right. So,
Yes.
yeah, and they're both red?
Both red, of course, different colors. This is the original. It's called Solar Red. My dad did a repaint on it in the 80s. I did a repaint on it about 10 years ago, and I took it back to original Solar Red. It's kind of you would think it would be a bright red, but it's a very, very subtle, low-key red, and I love it. I love the color.
And no doubt in your mind to keep her original.
That's it.
You've got a daughter. You already know where this car is going to go when you're done driving it.
Absolutely. When I can't drive those manual brakes or manual steering anymore, it's going to go into her hands, and she's already chomping at the bit for it.
Has she driven? She drives
She's
it?
driven it.
Yeah,
She has not driven it up here in the mountains since we brought it up to the mountains.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, she will.
So you've been here in Silva for about 5 years.
5 years. Yes.
And did you trailer her up?
Trailered it up from Florida on a flatbed and car car flatbed.
Yeah.
And of course, got flagged down all the time.
Is it for sale? Is it for
Exactly.
sale?
Is it for sale?
All the time.
Yeah.
Non-stop. So Dad bought this car in New Jersey.
Correct.
When did he move to Florida?
He moved to Florida in about year 2000, and shortly before he moved to 2000, he had decided he thinks it's time to let the GTO go, and offered it. I have a brother and sister. Talked to all three of us about the car before he sold it outright to somebody else, and my brother and sister both turned it down, and I turned it down, and eventually I finally came to my senses, and because I knew I couldn't afford to take care of it the way I needed to. It was sitting outside. It needed some work. It needed some help.
It did.
So I finally came to my senses when they both turned it down. Like, yeah, all right, I'm hopping on a plane. Hold on to it. I'm gonna get it. So before he moved to Florida, while he was still up in New Jersey, I flew up to U-Haul and towed it down to Florida, where it sat for a few years as I did mechanicals on it.
Sure.
It sat, parked back away off the road, and it ran, but it needed help. It needed a lot of work.
How many miles are on the engine?
Right now, it's got 104,000.
Wow, that's
when I
incredible.
Bought it from my dad around the year 2000. Had 98,000 miles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did mechanicals on it, and as I had enough money, and 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we put in the body shop. Had some guys do it who did it in their spare time. We spent about 2 years. Took everything off the car except the body. Body stayed on, but everything else came off the body. Everything came off. And I saved the car is what I was doing. I didn't restore it.
Right.
It's a driver. I saved it. I wanted to save the car. And that's what we're doing now. We're enjoying it.
Yeah, but no upgraded fuse panels or anything. This is just as bone stock as she was.
Bone stock. The AM radio still in there works.
AM radio.
AM radio.
You drive around to car shows out here. There's a season, but here I say in October, and we're outside. I'm wearing shorts, and we're short sleeves, and so blessed with a beautiful fall day. Just talked to my mom down in Florida, and she said it's 77 right now. What are we in the 50s?
It's 50s. It's going to get down to 40s tonight.
Is it gonna? I like that
weekend
too.
in the 30s.
I like that too. So when you tell me that you call her something.
Just the goat.
The goat.
She's always been known when I was growing up in this car, just known as the goat.
The goat.
Let's go out in the goat. Hey, Dad, let's take the goat. Yeah, it's always been the goat.
It wasn't a frame-off restoration,
No.
but you pulled the motor out?
No, the motor still is untouched except carburetor and, water pump.
Yeah, right.
We haven't pulled it out. I see no reason to. Every couple of years, I have somebody rebuild the quadrijet.
Right. And then as I said here, 4-speed, and you corrected me.
It's a 3-speed.
3-speed.
It's the original 3-speed. Of course, obviously, most people upgraded to a 4-speed when they bought these.
But it's a base model.
It's base model, 3-speed.
Factory air?
No air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No air conditioning. Dad says the reason he didn't upgrade to the 4-speed was it was one less gear to shift on the street, basically.
Oh, okay.
I think the real story is maybe Mom put the hammer down and said, "No, you're not buying the package to upgrade."
Okay.
But
because they did offer a lot with the Ram Airs and all the everything else.
Yes, it's just base 4-speed. The interior is still original except for the carpet. The carpet was replaced about the 1980s. Seats, Mom and Dad raised 3 kids in that back seat, and it is in great condition.
We did a segment last year, or was it earlier this year, on American Car Classics with you on the phone.
Yes, we did.
And that was a great little interview. The car had just been highlighted in, what's it called, the magazine?
The Legend.
The
GTO,
Legend.
Association of North America.
That's right. And we were impressed that you got this thing, that you got her into the magazine on the cover.
Yes.
A great write-up on it.
Yes.
You got to contribute to that write-up.
I actually wrote the story.
Yeah.
I took the pictures. I submitted about 100 pictures. I wrote the story. They, of course, narrowed it down to 10, 15 pictures.
Yeah.
But the story I wrote was word for word. The editors said they didn't edit anything. So the whole story of the goat is inside that magazine, and I'm honored that they picked my car.
Absolutely.
To go in this Legend magazine.
Yeah, and now you're wearing a shirt with the Pharaohs. This is a very, very old car club, nationwide.
Nationwide. This club has been around since 1948. Started by WW2 veterans, soldiers when they got home. it's starting to grow again.
Yeah, the chapter here.
The chapter here has been around about a year and a half.
And it's based out of
Franklin.
Franklin,
We are Western
North
Carolina Pharaohs.
Okay.
We do. It's a wonderful car club. There's no profanities. It's a family-friendly car club.
Beautiful.
Younger guys, a lot of younger guys in this chapter, in their 20s, early 30s, and they welcome me. I've only been in the club a few months, and I've actually been getting the GTO out more since I've been in this car club with these.
You mentioned to me that you are already an officer with the Pharaohs here.
Once they bumped me up to an officer inside the car club. We're bringing kind of a little bit of our age into the car club. My wife and I are both members of the car club.
Because you say the younger guys are kind of in there and doing.
Yes.
Is the president, he's a younger guy?
He's the general, yes. He's late 20s.
Wow. I'm blown away by that.
Yes, you're gonna have to look into some of these pharaohs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. On the go. Your sister, when we did the story with you, she wrote on Facebook. She was just ecstatic with it all.
Right.
She wishes that she'd maybe said yes to Dad before he got to you.
I'm sure both my brother and sister would love to have this car.
Have either of them gotten to see her or drive her or anything since you brought her back?
Neither one of them have driven it. They have seen it, of course. Dad got to drive it. You know, Dad's in ill health, but 10 years ago when I got it out of the body shop and we were all done, first place I went was over to Dad's house, and Dad sat behind the wheel and drove it. Took it for a little ride.
And how long was she down? Did she not get? I mean, when Dad moved from New Jersey, she sat for a while.
Well, it actually sat longer. He had done a mild repaint on it in the 80s, and after that, it kind of sat for 15, 16 years until he decided to sell it.
Wow.
So after I brought it to Florida, it sat while I did mechanicals on it, just to get her mechanically safe and sound.
And then, you did all that before she went to the body shop to do more.
Yeah, it was all ready to go as soon as the paint and body were done.
How bad was the body before it went back to repaint for you?
There wasn't body damage. It was rust. It was a New Jersey car, a lot of rust. The only metal we had to replace was a couple patch panels on the front fenders, both sides, right behind the wheels. The rest, any metal work was fabricated by the shop I had it at. Nothing major. It was nothing major at all.
And the exhaust may have been replaced, but it was a factory dual exhaust.
Yes.
Small pipes.
Yes,
still the same.
Pipes, still the same. That's the only thing I didn't add when I finished the car off. Was Dad had ordered, I think they were called can't think of the name, fluted tips.
Yeah, right.
And I just didn't like the looks of them, so I didn't put them on.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, I love it just the way it is.
Yeah. You drive around, I guess you have to put the top up sometimes.
It's rare. I mean, she
I don't know if I've ever seen a picture with her with a top up.
No, she stays in the garage, in the wintertime. She's never put away, as they say. She's always ready to go. The top usually only comes up when it's raining. That's it.
Yeah, we hate to take them out of the rain.
The top is brand new. It looks like it's never been used. When we put it up, it's pure white. And that's an odd thing because the interior is black. Dad ordered the car with a white top, so I've kept it with a white top. Even the black obviously would fit the car much better.
You have pictures here, of course, of the original bill of sale, the catalog of all of the stuff being done on her. Did y'all take her on family trips when you were young?
Yes, we would. We lived right outside Philadelphia, New Jersey. We would take summer trips to the shore, as we call it, out to the beach.
Out to the Jersey Shore?
Jersey Shore. About an hour and a half drive. We would go there every summer for a week or so. Dad once, he says maybe twice, took it to Florida. So it's had some trips.
Love that. I love the history of it. We often see cars, we see so many cars, and we talk to so many people about them. We get people that have bought a car done, and then we get the guy that has the book.
Right.
That can tell you about that bolt that was stubborn or the gap that was left on something that, or still, you mentioned to me there's one bulb, you've got one bulb left, one original bulb left.
The T3.
Of the T3, that's down the blinkers.
Or it's one of the headlights.
So it's one of the headlights?
Yeah. It's that high beam right next to you.
It's very cool.
Yeah. They lasted forever.
Fun to drive.
It's a lot of fun.
The roads here in North Carolina are a lot different than roads in Florida.
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to worry so much about the traffic we have in Florida. Up here, it's I feel a lot safer driving. A lot safer.
Yeah, because there's a lot less people.
Yes.
But as I drove up here, we're at an elevation of 3,000 feet.
3,000.
So I'm coming from sea level in my car, and she wants to run rich and all this. We talked about loving the low idles on a car.
Yes.
Where she just sits and does her thing. Yours being a stick shift, a little easier to control some of the RPM and, well, climbing the hill. This is where you climb a hill here.
Yeah, it's a bit of an incline. I worry about going downhill because part of our road is one lane.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful somebody else isn't coming up when you're going downhill because some people don't want to give way and back up. That leaves it up to me to back up. And it gets a little hairy sometimes, but rarely do you really ever run into somebody.
But it does happen.
It does happen.
And the more life happens, but there are other driveways you can stop and back
Yes,
into
there's
maybe.
room to move over.
And honestly, coming down the road with the goat, it's a little bit more intimidating than your person in the RAV4 or whatever they might be driving that they kind of would get out of the way sooner than you almost.
Absolutely.
I would like to think so. Show her respect.
It happens.
Yeah.
It does, thankfully.
Yeah. The interior.
The interior. Yeah, like I said, the seats are original. The dash is original. The AM radio still works. It's amazing how well my dad took care of this car.
And I don't think he didn't go out of his way to detail and clean up and all this. She was a daily driver.
Daily
back
driver
then.
for years up until the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great that you saved her.
Yes, saved it and saved on to my daughter and the next generation.
Smile says it all, Scott. I mean, this
I love
is
it. It's miles per gallon, not miles per gallon.
smiles per gallon. Isn't that the best?
Exactly.
Yeah. And to keep the tags on there, I didn't know about that law. Is that a North Carolina thing?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, glad for them to be able to do that.
Exactly. I love displaying the original tags.
Because we're all seeing now a blue classic tag or an antique
Right.
tag on cars that are 20 years older,
In all
25 years
states,
older.
yeah.
And we're seeing it now that it is on some cars that maybe don't deserve them or something, just
Right.
because the age is there.
Right.
But an 89 Caprice maybe isn't quite a classic.
Right.
She's a classic.
She's a classic.
Man. Well, Scott, really, I want to say thank you so much for doing this with us. This was our first segment, like I said, of Hidden Hot Rods. And what a gem. We're so happy to show her off to everyone in the world that gets to tune in to the American Car Classics. So, Scott Hill, thanks a ton for being our guinea pig here.
Thank you, Tony. I've had a blast.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All right.